guess what? Video follows audio's not working because the computer, the Mac shut down. So now I gotta fix that. Oh, there you go.
I was gonna say it should work.
Yeah, it's working. So what's up, y'all? If you just tuning in, again, this is So Sapiosexual. My name is Lamont with my wife, Tiffany. We trying to get back to lives. We're using a new system. If you ever heard of OBS, that's what we're using right now. I am definitely not familiar with OBS, but yeah, we getting it done. So we're just trying to figure things out. Feel free to leave any comments. We are checking the comments. Yeah, please don't curse us out.
Right, don't leave crazy comments if we get
You know what I mean? You know, last time they left, as soon as we started last time, they were just like, ah. They started going in. Why I don't see any, I guess this is no activity because no one left a comment, but are you seeing something, babe, or like?
Not on my Facebook page, no.
You're not seeing nothing on your
I don't see anything. Probably on YouTube.
Facebook. Yeah, I don't see Tiffany live or anything like that. So.
It comes up on YouTube.
It comes up on YouTube? Okay. How's the audio on YouTube? How's the audio on YouTube? See, I wonder why everything else works.
I hear it.
Yeah, I just don't understand why, Facebook is not working. Key rate too low. What's that? The current key rate is too low. What is that? The current key rate is too low. Recommend key frame rates. What is that? Key frame rate is 247. Key frame size. I have no idea what that is. But you can. I don't know why. I'm trying to figure this out. You want to talk to people?
Oh.
Like, somebody probably clicked on like, yo, who the fuck are you?
Sorry, I was just trying to figure out.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. You have to like talk to people.
Okay, so hi everybody. As my husband said, we're trying to get back into lives. He's trying to do a little bit more where it comes to like everything streaming at once instead of multiple like different cameras for different things. So yeah, the system's kind of a little glitchy right now. So I think only right now we're on YouTube and that's about it. Yeah.
Why is it saying so? Like when I click on it, right?
Click on what? YouTube?
Yeah. Why say? It keeps saying upcoming, like it's not streaming there. Can you see the stream?
I just clicked on.
What did you click?
Yeah, I went onto our page.
Okay.
And then it says live.
Oh, so you got to click on the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it comes up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're currently trying to work this thing out. Yeah. So once we kind of get it together, we'll be able to reach a little bit more like of our viewers.
Right.
Right now it's just YouTube, so I'm not sure who's on YouTube.
Right. And I don't know how to check how you can find out if we're live on TikTok because
let me see because I can usually see sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know if I can see on live.
So let me see. Let's see live here. But I don't see us. Oh, it is live.
It is live. It's live on TikTok, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so that's cool.
Yep.
That's great. Okay, so that's
So
awesome.
we have TikTok. Oh, I showed me. I joined. Hi, Hammer.
You're the only one that.
Someone named Hammer clicked on.
All right, so at least somebody.
Welcome, Hammer.
Are they? Did they?
They logged off. They
They
literally.
was like, oh, yeah, you said because you shout at people, you can't shout at people when they shout.
They put it to me all the time.
Yeah, they Like,
really?
I don't want you to recognize me, lady.
Right. Like, I don't want you to say anything to me. I get it. Yeah, so we're on TikTok and YouTube.
Right.
We just gotta figure out Facebook, I guess, a little later, what's going on with Facebook. Because we do have a lot of followers on Facebook. So, yeah.
Yeah, so if people want to check in on YouTube and TikTok. Which, I mean, you send it to Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just tell her that we are on TikTok. Can you leave a comment? I want to see if the comments are working.
Let me see. It came up.
Huh?
Did you see the comment?
Nah,
It came up on the thing.
yeah, so it's supposed to be multi-chat, but I don't see any comment there.
Hi, Krista.
Why do you keep shouting people's names out?
Because I always wanted to do that.
Oh, Queen Vibes. I'm watching y'all on YouTube. Okay, bad. Okay, so YouTube comments are coming in. Okay, I like your sweatshirt, little girl. Okay.
Oh, my sweatshirt?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alright, appreciate you. Alright, so we get some comments.
Okay. Sorry.
So we can see YouTube comments only. We cannot see anything else.
Can't see TikTok or nothing.
I don't know why. Like, this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be all of them together, and it's not. So I gotta figure that out. But until then,
there's nobody on TikTok.
Until then, if y'all wanna leave comments or whatever, go to YouTube and you can leave comments.
So
you're gonna be looking at the TikTok comments. I look at the YouTube comments.
I have it up, but there's nobody on there. There's nobody in.
All right, cool. All right, so we can start now. Thank you guys for holding on and letting us get through all this. We really appreciate your patience.
Yes. So, without further delay, sorry about deliveries. So we decided to come on just because we want to get back into the whole live space, because it's easier to connect with our viewers versus recording and then posting, because then you guys have questions or some people want to have to make comments themselves, and a couple people I know asked, like, why don't y'all go live? Like, why aren't you going to go live? So we're trying to go live and get back into that space.
Right.
There's a lot of things that are going on in the world, so we're going to kind of go touch the hot topics, I guess. And a lot of the big hot topics, as we all know, is tariffs, Trump, and tyranny.
Don't say tyranny. That's my president.
Oh, right. So we're gonna talk about that. And China. I was just kidding. Tyranny is not one of them, but China is one of them. So we're gonna kind of go into that conversation because there's a lot of space of things happening on TT and people saying their opinions and everything else. So we might as well dig deep into that and share what we think our opinion is. Let's start off with just Trump in general.
You want to go straight to Trump?
We might as well, because he's linked to everything else in this conversation. So we might as well start with Trump.
Can you look at the camera and not the screen?
Oh, sorry.
you like.
I don't know where to look. Like, I'm just like looking around.
You want to look in the camera. So like, if y'all see me, I'm looking directly in the camera. So we have the cameras right in front of us, and then we have a screen right behind the cameras. Mm-hmm. My wife is like this.
Yeah. Because I'm just trying to look.
Stop looking at the TV.
Oh, okay. So look at the camera.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Look at the camera.
So let's talk about our Trump here. So I know a lot of people have their own opinions. I am. Sorry. It's sorry. I know everyone has their own opinions on what Trump is, who Trump is, what he's doing, everybody else. You all have your right to feel how you feel about the current president. I'm just going to put a little bit of, like, we're just going to talk a little bit about what's going on with him. And then me and my husband kind of had back and forth conversation. Me personally, I feel as though a lot of things that he is trying to do or implement, I think that's the word.
Implement is the right word.
Right.
Yeah, implement.
He's trying to make a change. So with any change occurs uncomfortableness, regardless of anything that you do in life. We all were uncomfortable at one time in life. We might be uncomfortable currently. But for us to be better, you have to go through that process of change. So yes, it's hard right now and we don't know what's forthcoming. Everybody's making their opinion on what they think is going to happen and how this is going to happen and good, bad versus different and everything else. I feel as though a lot of people should just understand that change is inevitable. Sorry.
Inevitable.
Yes. And that's one thing in life that's always constant is change, regardless of how you feel. So I feel as though a lot of people should just let that change be what it is so we can see how this outcome will be.
Yeah, but like I think what a lot of people, let me just fix this. So what a lot of people got questions about is that they feel, and I understand, like a lot of people feel that, all right, like I understand what he's trying to do, but with what he's done, why are you beefing with these other countries? Like that's the problem that most people have. The problem that most people have is that they wonder why Trump beef with these different countries. Can you explain like why?
Yeah, I mean, if we look at history in a nutshell, he's beefing with these other countries because he feels as though America has been getting ripped off for a very long time. Now, mind you, none of us, and let's not pretend like all of us were looking at, everything was going on with the world prior to, because none of us were. He found a lot of things when his first term. So he came in trying to figure things out, and he did. But then he comes back the second time. Now he's putting things in effect. And again, like I said, I don't agree to a lot of the things that he does. And I'm going to repeat that again, because you're going to be like, go in on the comments. It's just the fact of there's some things we just need to let be. If it doesn't work out, okay, then we can talk and say whatever we want to say. If it works out, then it works out. But
what things that you don't like that he's doing? Because I think that when we sit down and me and my wife sit down and we have these discussions,
right.
We kind of both agree. I thought that we both agree that
We do.
what he's doing is the right, like we believe is the right thing.
Correct.
Again, we're no politicians,
Mm-hmm.
we no mathematicians, anything like that.
No.
But just from a common sense perspective,
Right.
it appears that he is doing the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like he's using America as a business, as
Right.
it should be, because technically we are nothing but a huge manufacturing business. Think about it. We all go to work, we make a check. We're all part of the system. It's all a business, same thing. But I think that what happens is people don't like the fact of the old becoming the new, or the new becoming the old. So it's kind of like everybody has an issue with it versus just give it some time. Let's just see how this goes. Like, let's just see. You may not agree to it, but again, me and my husband do agree to a lot of the things. Our dog is very smart. A lot of the things that he's doing is good business aspect. He's beefing with other countries because he feels as though for a very long time,
Look at the camera.
very long time, America has been pulled around, and now it's time for us to get what's been pulling. Now, is it hard to do that? Yeah, because everything has been made in where? China.
Right, and like that's our own fault. Like that's America's fault. And what Trump is trying to do when he say "Make America Great Again" is that back in the day, excluding the racism part.
Right.
Every country got their own, pros and cons. So let's exclude the racism and all that, but let's talk about the factories and everything. Back in the day, again, I'm 7 or 6? I'll be forgetting my age sometimes.
You're 36, I'm 37.
Alright, so I'm 36, right? So I'm 36 years old, and back in the day when I was growing up, when you brought a product from America and it said made in America, you knew it was good quality.
Mm-hmm.
And when you brought something from China, and I'm not coming at China, whatever, I respect China. But back in the day, when you brought something from China, it was of a lower quality
Correct.
until Japan came on the scene when they made their cars. Because, the Japanese made some of the best cars, and then the Chinese started getting in the market and everything. And that's when things things started to shift. And I don't know exactly when or what president or what type of mindset America had back in the day where they just figured that, hey, let's just switch all our manufacturing over to different countries and get it for cheaper. That to me, that's greed to me in a nutshell.
Right.
Do you feel the same way?
No, I do. I do feel like when we take everything out of our storehouse because we feel like we can get it cheaper over here, is always everybody's go-to. Because if I don't have to pay, 5 people to do a job one person can do, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go to that one person and pay them nothing. And for a very long time, unfortunately, China had the upper hand because for a very long time, China was off the map for a couple of years, and they built the machine that we currently see now. I was doing like the Iron Curtain and all that stuff.
Right.
So because of that, we basically gave them time to be this ultimate powerhouse. So we really can't get mad. We can feel away, sure, fine, but until we kind of get into this whole everything's gonna be back to USA built, made in America, that whole big thing, then we'll be good. Now, one thing that is going to happen, and people will be lying if they say it's not, it's going to get bumpy before the road smooths out. It's just going to, regardless of how anybody feels. It's not going to be perfect. Yeah, we're going to have some hiccups. Yes, you're going to see some back and forth action for a little bit because nobody's perfect. Everybody is learning this whole thing. Mm-hmm. And now if this thing does work out and it does put more money back in our pockets, we can spend more, then this is what we need to stick to, the model that we need to stick to. Now, whether or not the next person in office does that, it's right. Totally up to them. But if we're going to set a model to make us all rich and in our own way, not just saying rich money-wise, but just wealth, in a different way, then I don't understand why we're being so, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Rejective of it, because we just don't know the outcome of anything.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you, by the way. No comments? Mm-hmm. Okay. No. Yeah, so I totally agree with you, by the way. So America got greedy. Mm-hmm. America got greedy. Again, I love America, just like I love certain family members, just like I love myself. I can go to myself and be like, yeah, that was wrong. You did something wrong. I can go to my wife, my kids, my family, and tell them they did something wrong. That don't mean I don't love them, like them, etc. I love America. I serve my country, this, that, and the third. Right. But America had a greed problem. Back in the day, they had factories literally built in Detroit, in different places. We had our own factories here, but we said, you know what? I want to make even more money. So let's shut down all these factories here in the United States because I guess inflation and the cost of living was going higher, so they had to pay their employees more. So they're like, okay, since we got to pay these employees more, it's dropping down our bottom line. We can make way more money if we just switch our factories over to a different country.
So I'm not even getting lights.
You said what?
I'm giving us lights on TikTok.
Good, yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Good.
So I don't look weird, but that's what I'm doing.
No, I wouldn't even say that. You gotta do what we gotta do. We just starting out now. Just keep smashing. Anyway, yeah. So in a nutshell, that's what it is. I mean, we just got greedy, and yeah.
I think we want to cut corners. So I don't know. It could have been. It could have been. Right. It could have been.
Look in the camera.
Sorry. It could have been. It could have been someone researching, learning that, cheap labor in China or cheap labor here, cheap labor there, which caused them to reevaluate everything, which could be, or it could have been, the wages that the American people were asking for, they were not going to get. that's too high of a demand for something they can't kind of, I guess, give. So because we had that problem, and because it showed in history that not only did it happen in Detroit, it happened in Edison, New Jersey, and I don't think a lot of people know about that, where there was a Ford factory where there's a Top Golf and there's a whole bunch of other stuff over there.
Yeah,
That big area.
You know what? I totally forgot about that.
It was a
definitely
Ford factory.
In Edison, New Jersey. Was a Ford factory there.
It was a Ford factory, and they outsourced again, and they shut that whole factory down. And what happened was, builders came in years later and destroyed that whole area and made it what we see currently. So it's the same thing. They outsourced because it's cheaper, and we as a people have to understand, okay, we made a move, but the move cost us in the long term. Like I say all the time, your past decisions apply to your future. So whatever you do in your past, it's going to catch up to you in your future. It's not going to just disappear and like, oh, well, it's gone. We made a decision back then because we felt like that was the best decision for us at that current time, and now it's affecting us now. Where if we can't afford things anymore. There's nothing made in America, very little made in America, and if you do find it, a lot of times they're out of business because they can't keep afloat. I can't keep afloat if China is paying their people barely $1 to nothing for them to work 24 hours a day versus I can't pay people 8 hours. So,
see, that's so what I believe, right, is that China, they got a different mindset when it comes to happiness or when it comes to wealth.
And
right?
work.
And work. Their work ethic is crazy.
It's insane.
So it's just like, okay, when we do comparisons, right? Oh, their what is it, yen or whatever is not worth as much as the American dollar. Okay, but they still able to afford things in their own country.
Right.
Plus, they grow their own stuff. They grow their own crops. They make their own things. They got factories. So
They're
whatever
not
that
taxed.
they're not taxed. So whatever they need, they can get.
Correct.
They got everything that they want in their country. Every country goes to them to manufacture their stuff. I mean, you got France. They even doing things with Africa. What other countries? Denmark. You can name the country, and I bet you that some major company is going to China to get their products manufactured. And I challenge anybody on that.
But the thing about it is, half of us are going to China to get their products. Every time you shop Fashion Nova or Shein, that's China. That's not America. And the crazy part about it is we try to make it seem like, we're trying to shy away from it. We're not doing that. We're not doing this. But realistically, we've always been doing it. And, the moment you hit the cart, and we all have done it. I have done it. My husband has done it. Where we go to Temu, Alibaba, Shine, all these places, is because, again, it's cheaper. Like, everybody chases the cheaper. So, sorry, I was for a minute. Everything, we always chase what's cheaper. So am I surprised that, China is on TT talking about manufacturing and, well, yeah, they say TT more than TikTok.
Yeah, I know, you're like a TikTok expert.
I've been on TikTok a lot, where they're talking about manufacturing, and I'm not going to lie, but the other day, and I was talking to my husband, the other day when all these tariffs have been introduced and everybody's panicking like we're going to go through the Great Depression or something, I literally was on my For You page, as I call it, TikTok, and all I kept saying was China TikTok, like manufacturers and bags and all this stuff. And the funny thing is, this stuff always existed. Like Canal Street in New York City was always a place where you get your knockoffs and get all this stuff.
They don't know about Canal Street.
Yeah,
they don't know about it.
This is nothing new. It's just that it's digital versus you actually going down somewhere. Now, Canal Street products are not as good as the current products, but still, it was the same exact thing. So it's been around for ages. Like, even my mom knows about it, obviously. All New York people know Canal Street and what it is. From jewelry to bags to clothing to shoes. That's just what it was. That's just where the culture is. It's just what it is. So now you see it digital. I feel as though there's nothing wrong with that. like we've had conversations about, we feel as though the same manufacturers are the same ones that are pushing to these luxury companies.
Right. So I remember like back in the day, when you was wearing knockoff, you used to go to school or whatever. People will come at you like, "Yo, like the soles is different, or the stitching is different, and things like that, yada. But nowadays, it's a mirror. That's what they call it, right? Yep. It's a mirror of the actual thing. I mean, the leather and everything. And just think about this for a second, right? If you go to a website, let's say Fendi, for instance, and you look at their bags is costing like $2,000 for like one of the cheapest ones. Anything new is $3,000 plus.
Right.
Trust me, I looked.
Right.
It's expensive. Now, if you go to like one of these Chinese manufacturer websites, these knockoff websites or whatever, it's a mirror image. They even got serial numbers on the bags now.
Yes, they do.
And you really cannot tell the difference, right? Mm-hmm. And they are charging you like $80 for a bag. Yeah. Just think how much their upside is for these big companies. Just think like, okay, if they are able to make a profit, I'm pretty sure their profit margin is high.
Correct.
If they are able to make a profit charging you $80 for a bag, just think how cheap it is to actually manufacture it, especially if you get it in bulk. And these people are making like 2,000% off of us, and it's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's a status symbol. I get it, but still, it's just America got too greedy, and that's our downfall. We kind of like growing. We're getting a little bit too
big for our britches, as my mom would say. Getting too big for our britches, and I also feel as though. Because like some of these rooms, people are in, or you come across everybody. Let's not pretend that we all have not seen these rooms where they're like selling these bags and people are like asking for numbers and everything else. Like, let's not pretend that everybody has been in the room. Trust me. And they get a little crazy where there is like people in there that are like they're spending all their money because again. Yes, it's a status symbol, but also now it's to a point where now a lot of things are being exposed. It's kind of like, well, why am I really doing all this? And people are already questioning, like, well, why would I think my husband sent me a video of a guy saying, why would they even let the people go on and talk about, them, the bags, and mess up their NDA and blah, 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 blah. Realistically, the reason why they're doing that is because they have nothing to lose. So regardless of anything, if it wasn't true, and I look at it like this, if it wasn't true, then yeah, these companies will come back and say A, B, and C, or they would try to sue them, but technically you can't sue in China. So I learned it the other day. You can't sue in China.
You can't sue them. You can't sue in China.
You can't sue them. No, you cannot sue them. Now, copyright friendly, yes. If it's copywritten, yes, they can come after you for that. But as in like suing you because you're deframing my character or telling something that's not true, they can't do that. So in these cities, there are actual cities in China that are known as replica cities, where they are known to have replica bags. They are known to have, and the reason why they call them replica, so let's go back to a little bit of schooling, is because they cannot tell you it's the real thing. Because they will go to jail. So replica and mirror to mirror, meaning it looks exactly like the one bag.
That, right?
Yes, because one time somebody was telling a story how they bought a real, I'm going to say Lulu, I'm just going to put it that way. They bought a real one and they went into one of these rooms and bought one of the people who were buying them. And then they took their one they bought in the rooms and walked into Louis, and they couldn't tell the difference. They literally couldn't tell the difference. And somebody had to send it in for work, and they worked on the bag because they thought it was the real bag. So,
yeah,
that's wild. And that came from somebody really in a room talking like, "Hey, this is what I experienced." So you can't tell me that it's not real, because as a creator of my stuff, I would know what makes it different, right? So if it's looking exactly like something I'm producing, that should be telling you something.
Right, if they're getting it from over there.
Correct. So a lot of people make a big deal, or like, oh, you wearing knockoffs, you wearing this. Let me tell you something.
Who the fuck cares?
Who
Everybody wearing
cares?
knockoff.
Everybody
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Is that they literally got, and this is allegedly, right? I don't know for sure. I'm putting my 2 cents in. If you ever like watch a commercial called The Real,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Where they get bags
Mm-hmm.
of these different manufacturers and then they check them off
Mm-hmm.
and they verify them as real and they send it to you.
And they smell them.
And they smell them. They do all this crazy stuff. Leather smell like leather.
Right.
If you ever smell leather, all leather smells the same. And then they sell it to you. How do they, like, do you think they really know if it's knockoff or not?
They don't.
What if their inventory low? They be like, damn, we haven't really got anything real yet. You think they won't maybe slip a few of them replicas in there?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Or even StockX.
Yeah.
The shoe place.
They're coming at them.
Listen, this is all allegedly. This is just what I feel as a person. I'm not saying this is true.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that when you buy something from StockX and they put a little green bubble on there, you know what I mean, and you feeling special, and I see some young kids walking around with their little green bubble on their fucking shoe, you get what I'm saying, as well. I mean, it is what it is. I get it.
Right.
You know, because I was a kid too, and I cared about, you know, spending $100 something, because that back in the day, $100 something was a lot of money for a pair.
Right.
Like I cared about, oh yeah, these are real official shoes.
Right.
So I get it, but you can't nobody tell me that some of them shits ain't reps. Dead ass. Like.
I've seen a lot of people on my For You page stating that they have been doing this for years. So like they've been buying these rep shoes for years. And people in comments, I always read comments to see how people input it. People in comments like, yeah, but it's not the real thing until it starts falling apart. The funny thing about it is, a lot of this stuff doesn't even fall apart. Okay, I've seen people on the For You pages talking about they've had their replica bag for 5 years and it still looks like the real thing. So it's kind of like, I get it. And then everyone's next question is, well, why isn't China stopping? I'm going to tell you why China's not stopping. Because according to a lot of people, they're saying that these luxury brands have increased their prices due to the tariffs, right? That have not come in effect yet, just by the way. Due to the tariffs, and they have to charge you more. And they're not admitting that they're using China as their manufacturer. They're telling them, oh, we make it here, we make it there, and it's not true. So China feels away. China feels away. China's like, all right, I'm going to expose all y'all. And people are like, well, they can't do that. China doesn't have TikTok. That's not true. TikTok is a Chinese-based app. They have it. It's just that there's certain stipulations they can't do. So there's certain things, and they also have their own quote-unquote TikTok, Red Node, and I think it's called Red Node or Red something.
It's like Lemonade or something like that.
Yeah, Lemonade is one of them too. So they have all these other outlets that they do use. People don't understand that just because you think they don't have it, because I know this because I used to work for a certain company, and certain things were sent over to the countries just mod. So maybe the cameras weren't, 100% what's in the United States. They changed them because there's certain rules and regulations over there that they cannot follow. So that's why I said I would not run this past them, that it does not exist. And a lot of this stuff they're saying, there's probably some truth behind some of it. Some of it, I'm not saying all of it, I'm saying some of it. And we need to understand that, yes, we're in a position right now where things are going to get real. So they're pulling out all itinerary, because they're like, you know what, you gonna come for me, I'm gonna come for you.
I'm gonna come for you.
That's cool.
But what they doing to kind of like get around it's not manufactured in China is that they will have most of the shoe assembled in China.
Yeah.
Most of the shoe is assembled in China. Just the sole is not assembled. So they have the whole upper, what is that, the midsole or the whole, whatever. The main body of the shoe and the sole of the shoe is detached.
Right.
They ship it to another country. They reattach it. Then they can say, if they do that, they can say that it was made in that country.
Right.
And sell it to us at a premium price. That's what they are doing.
To the country.
Exactly. So it's crazy.
And to me is we, first of all, a lot of us have already knew this for years. That's one. It's just being exposed now because of the tariffs. So now what's happening, people are like, oh my gosh, we're over here helping China, and now we're going to have to pay all this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but a lot of things are going to be coming out. You're talking about, excuse me, for any type of war, right? All gloves off. There is no I'm coddling anybody, right? So you're talking about a tariff war, right? So China's coming back like, listen, you can come for me, but you don't have enough to come for me. And unfortunately, they have more leverage. They just have more leverage. We can feel how we want to feel. We can disagree with it. And people that come in and say, well, I don't like what's A, B, and C. We've been doing the same thing for years. We need some change. I know me as a working person and my husband as a working person, we tired. We not about to pay for everybody and we can't get paid ourselves. That don't make no sense. Only people that I can do that for is my family. Not people I don't know. Not people, that don't want better for themselves. I'm sorry, I said what I said. I'm not going to be doing all that. I'm just not. I've been doing it my whole life. I've been working since I'm 14 years old, taking all kinds of stuff from my check. I don't know where it's going. I don't know what's happening. And I know you feel the same, right?
Yeah, I definitely feel the same. Being the middle class, we get dumped with everything. We too poor to be rich, and we get taxed to comfort the poor. And I'm trying to say the right thing here without being an a-hole.
Right.
But if you ever get a paycheck and you look at where your money's going, and then you file like income tax or something, and if you know people that really don't do too much, right? They got their 9-to-5 job, they producing what they can, they doing what they can or whatever. They have mad kids though, and they just getting by. They go file income tax, they get like 10, 11, 12 back. Crazy.
I agree, and I feel like a lot of the American people that are middle class, quote unquote, because there's no middle class, but
yeah, I don't think it is a middle class anymore.
I would say working class.
The working class, yeah.
The working class are the ones being hit. Now, people come to me and they fight me all the time about this. Oh, well, the veterans and the elderly and the disabled, I'm not talking about them. They will always be forever taken care of because there's a lot of things that cover them when it comes down to laws. So that's not the problem. The problem are the ones that can get out here and can do something. That's the problem. And I work in the healthcare system. So there are things that have been going on for years that we have turned a blind eye of. And I'm going to be honest with you. From someone who has seen it. I've seen it hand on without going into details. But I've seen it hand on. And we have to understand.
You see what hand on, baby?
A lot of
you say you don't want to say it?
Yeah, I don't want to go into details, but a lot of basically abuse. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
A lot of abuse in the system. There was a lot of abuse in the system when COVID was going on. There's a lot of abuse in the system.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I'm saying? So, there's a lot of abuse that we don't focus on, but we always want to say, well, what about? What about? Yeah, you're right. What about? We want to take care of the ones that need it, not the ones that don't need it and just want it. That's the difference. None of us want to go to work. I don't want to get up and go to work. My husband don't get up and go to work. I'd rather sit home and take care of my kids and, be able to be fed and bills be paid. And I would love that easy ride, but that's not what life is. Because you have to continue to make, the world go around. It don't work like that. That's not what America was created on anyway. We was created on working citizens.
Right.
We worked. We bust our behind until the Great Depression. Then people didn't have a job, didn't know what to do. So that whole thing changed, but it wasn't meant to be in that same state of mind.
So it all ties back to Trump and his policies.
Right.
So all the tangent that we just went on, everything that, well, it wasn't really a tangent. We kind of stayed on topic. The whole topic that we talked about goes back to why we feel he's doing the right thing.
Correct.
Now it's definitely going to be, some rainy days. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be some rainy days. Some rainy days now. The stock market went down, and then it came right back up. So as he lifted, so just think about that for a second, right? It went down for a second. He got what he wanted. He negotiated with different countries. He did the reciprocal. It wasn't really reciprocal. They should change the name. Basically, but that's what he called it. He called it reciprocal tariffs, where if you tariff us at 30%, we're going to tariff you at 30%. But he wasn't really reciprocal because he didn't really go to that extreme. Right. However, he was able to get a lot of countries to come to the table and talk to him and negotiate the price because we've been getting what he said ripped off for a very long time. Mm-hmm. I understand that. So he's trying to fix a problem that, quite frankly, America did to themselves. I get that. He's trying to fix a problem that America did to themselves, and he said that. He's trying to stop the bleed. He said that we need to stop the bleeding. Mm-hmm. Too many of us are just looking out for, themselves instead of looking out for the whole. Right. And when you're making billions of dollars, you got to think about, okay, how can I make my country strong? Not just how I can make myself strong. Right.
I also want people to look at, too, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. So if you ever were an entrepreneur or thought about being an entrepreneur or you ever wanted to get in the stock market or you wanted any of that stuff, there's going to be so many opportunities because of what's going on for you to jump on board. I'm going to give you a prime example. During COVID, me and my husband bought our house. That was an opportunity.
Right.
So we got to stop kind of putting the magnifying glass on the big issues and look at the small occurrences or the small things that are happening due to the big problem. Because the stock market dropped so low, everybody should have been talking about, okay, where I'm going to invest in. Because when it goes back up, I'll be good because it's going back up. We didn't. We panicked. Oh, it's the worst it's been. We look at the bigger picture, but we don't look at the side quests, as I like to call them. We don't look at them because we are so caught up in what they're showing us in front of our face versus looking at, you know what? During COVID, like I said, interest rate was at its lowest. Buy. Like that's the best time to buy. But we're waiting for something to happen where it's going to be like, aha. A lot of times it's not going to be aha. It's going to be very subtle and very quiet. But you have to be at the right place at the right time. If you're not paying attention to what's really going on business-wise, where you want to invest and make your own business and be your own person, then you're going to lose that opportunity. I believe that he is going to give opportunities for businesses to start. I believe he's going to do all that. But the thing is, be prepared. Have your business plan in hand. Have, how much funding you would want for your business. What you want to do. Have that all in hand. Because when he does release that stuff, and I believe it is forthcoming, because if he does the tariffs and he does all this stuff, he's going to need businesses from our soil to make America run. And if we don't have those businesses, I mean legit businesses, I'm not talking about the shady ones. I'm talking about legit businesses, LLCs. I'm talking about people that really want to do something and be something. That's what I'm talking about. Not talking about the illegal ones. Let me make that very clear. The ones where you're making a paycheck and you can keep that money that you're making and it doesn't go to somebody else's hand. keep that in mind, because that is going to be an opportunity. I feel as though we don't look at them. We don't look at long-term effects. We look at short-term little kind of fights versus the long-term. Yes, we're going to all suffer a little bit. Things are going to be a little bit more expensive. They've been expensive. Let's be honest. Just going to be a little bit of a haul before things kind of click in. Either you're going to be in this for the long haul, or you're going to give out first time, and then you're going to miss your opportunity. Like, pick your poison. That's kind of how I look at it.
Right. So, what final thoughts do you have for, this whole situation?
Buckle your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride. That's my final thoughts.
Right.
Have faith in things you don't see, because a lot of times we don't have faith in things we don't see because we need tangible. Tangible is not always there. It's called having faith to believe it, because if you don't see it, does not mean it does not exist.
That's good. And, just to piggyback off that, it's definitely going to be a bumpy ride, but this is the time to get educated.
Mm-hmm.
Don't believe everything that you see on the news.
Yes. Research.
Do your own research. Don't be a follower.
Mm-hmm.
That's the final message that I want to leave to all you guys. Don't be a follower. If something sounds right to you or something sounds wrong to you, do a little bit of research, find out on your own, because a lot of stuff that's happening on social media, everybody got their own opinion. So I just rather all you guys do your own research, become your own person, and talk about it. Talk about it, and then hopefully you'll find the truth.
Right, I agree.
Yeah. With that being said,
You have a great night.
yeah, I'll switch it over to you.
Yeah, have a great night.
All right.
Stay positive.
Yeah. So have a great night. Stay positive. Again, thanks for everybody that viewed.
Yes.
Please like, share the video. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for the patience. We're getting back to this again. We're got 2 kids, married. It's a lot. House.
Yeah, getting married.
Yeah.
Well, we're married, but having a ceremony. So.
Yeah.
Having a ceremony.
Yeah, I'm about to knock out because we're already married. That's why we're married.
Yeah, that's what I said. We're already married, but having a ceremony.
Yeah, I know. This is I'm making this exit super long, but yeah, this is past our bedtime. So good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all.
Like, share, comment. Appreciate y'all. Stay safe.